Hello, good evening to everybody. Good evening to everybody. My name is Jerry Godwin. I'm here to present on the topic a novel approach to employee wellness through security management practices. And that's my term paper topic. And that's what I present to you um, today. Okay. So with the project that I'm doing, I'm going to look at the following as presented in the table of contents. We're going to look into the introduction of the main subject. We'll look at the goals. We're going to also look at the main objectives and objectives that underlines this research. Then also pertinent questions that will help us to um, find solution to the main objectives that is set for this project. Then not forgetting about the methodology that will be adopted to conduct the research. Then also another thing that I'm going to look into is the background literature review and other literatures that will help me to find a solution to the main objectives. Also stated here as you can see on the screen. Then also I adopted a model that can help me to understand the concept of the subject that I'm trying to find, I'm trying to research into. Then also, I also look at a discussion based on the questions underlining the subject matter. Then also, I also look at the contribution that this research outcome can able to contribute to the organization as well as to employees or people in the same arena. Then I give a final conclusion as well as summary of that. Then you have the references to that. Okay, so quickly, I jump to the introduction. So information security has been a matter of talk of the days. We can see that most organizations are trying to talk much about it, trying to see how best they can deal with it. So it's very important for managers and as well as employees to understand what information security is. So hence the topic, a novel approach to management practices to the wellness of employees. And this introduction also deals with how management can able to ensure that they have the best practices that can help promote employees' wellness. So most of the organizations are practicing information security, but how well are they practicing it? And sometimes it brings employees to the disadvantage. So I try to find out, try to read why to understand how this can help promote so that employees can be safeguarded and based on the management practices under the information security. So going to look on that, that help to that's going to help management to be able to understand the practices that can help them to improve on the security measures that can promote the wellness of employees. Okay. All right. So looking at the main objectives of the project or of the term paper, I divided the objectives into two, which I have the primary objective, then I have the specific objectives that underline the subject matter. So the primary is also looking through which information security management practices can bring much improvement that can promote the employee wellness in the organization. That's the primary objectives of the main topic. Then also with the specific objective, I wanted to find out or showcase the major security, information security management practices, also to the wellness of employee in the organization, and what are some of the factors, also looking into some of the factors that can impact on the deployment of information security policies. Then also, I also wanted to find out to understand the various factors that pertains to management, policies, and employee wellness. So we need to understand the fact that in when I want to find out the main primary objectives, these are some of the things that can help me to also improve on the other specific things that can help me to unravel how to promote the two based on the management practices and also wellness of employees. So I'll need to find out the various factors that can help promote that to bring the two together. Okay, then also I wanted to find out and simplify some of the security management, and also what are the things that can help what we call the service level agreement that are required to help promote that particular security management policies, then also the employee wellness. Then also I wanted to assess the accuracy, also then also confidentiality and integrity of management practices. So we've come to the fact that we need to understand, even though people, management or managers are practicing, are putting security practice in place, but how well are they able to ensure what we call the tenant of the CIA? That is the confidentiality, that we have the integrity, and as well as the accuracy of information security. Okay, these are the specific objectives that underlies my project. Then also, I I wanted to, for me to achieve the fullest aspect of the objectives, I came up with these questions that can help me to find solutions or answers that can help to broaden my mind based on the objectives that I set for this term paper or term project. Okay, so one of them is what are the present management practices? So I wanted to know the current practices that is being done, okay, that can help to promote employee wellness. What are the present management practices? It's very important for me to find that. Then also looking at the various factors in the security management policies and employees that can help me to find a solution to that. Then we're also looking at what extent is the practices, that the security practices influencing employee wellness. So with the wellness, what are the factors that can influence it to ensure that employee wellness are attained? Those are things that I need to also find out. Then finally, looking at the level of accuracy in terms of the tenant of the CIA. So what are the things that can help me to find out? So these are the basic questions, project questions that I decided to embark on to able to find solution to the objectives. Then also with the term paper of research, I can't do the research without methodology. So methodology defines the processes, the method, the design that you adopt to achieve your goal. So I decided to adopt a simple survey that can help me to get certain kind of solution to the subject matter, that can help me to find solution to the objectives, okay, as well as asking basic questions. So I decided to adopt the questionnaire type, where I set those 4 questions that I roll out on through a survey level, so I can able to get basic solution to that. So I asked the 4 primary questions as I enumerated earlier on. Then also based on that, I have to use random sampling, where I send out to people who are working in a particular organization for me to get that. And in order to avoid any biasness, to avoid any bias, I roll out what we call the simple random selection module, where most of them that I have the contact, I have the email able to roll out to them, and they responded appropriately. And I choose simple random because just to avoid any kind of biasness, to get the real situation on the ground that can help me to carry on. Then also, I also practice the personal observation, because I wanted to see things for myself, to also get myself involved within the particular research that I'm doing, to also to understand the basic factors that can help me to have a good stand on what kind of what I'm trying to do. And also, I also look at the population. What's the population? The population, I can reach large number of the people based on the duration of the project. So I have to sample. So I use the simple random sampling tool or method, and that make me to sample out of the population. And mostly we know that the population will be the 1/10 of the population that can help me to generalize based on whatever I'm trying to look for. Then also for the project to be fulfilled, and I need to look into literature aspect based on what other authors have written so far concerning the project. So I came up with other literatures concerning what others have done. I reviewed some of them and I came up with basic concepts or basic topics that can help me to review other topics based on the subject matter of my topic. So I have the information security. So information security is something that is widely said or talked about, and most firms, organizations, managers, employees, or even clients or customers are looking into it very seriously because it's now the talk of the day. Now we have a lot of issues happening now. People need to rely on the use of network, on the use of systems to help them to operate. Now in operating, that counts what? Security. So security is much priority. So how well do they deal with it? This is what I also spoke about, and I look at some of the issues that come from security. And we know that organization, for it to be trusted, you need to have a secure environment that can help you to operate. Now, so as employees that are also working, how can they operate? That's where I would notice that what are some of the things that can help you to do that? What is your culture when it comes to security? So looking at that both privately and also public, you need to look at the culture. How is your culture going to help you promote when it comes to security? As well as ensuring that employees buy into your policies and also involve themselves in the security aspect of the project that you have or within the working nature that you're operating. Then also looking at the security, organization security features. There are features that promote the organization security, which I said much about that, and it's very important for us to take notice of that. This helps the organization to understand the tenacity of what information security is. So it helps you to promote, to improve on what you need to put in place. So don't forget, we can't forget the fact that there are three things involved in information security. We need to know that the three things: the CIA, confidentiality, integrity, and availability. So confidentiality must hold in high esteem. Not every data that will be presented on board to everybody to access. Then also we're looking at the integrity. How sure are you to keep the data safe? Accessibility when it is required. Then availability also, we need to make data available to only and only users who need to have access to it. So these are the features that help us to ensure that security is well attained in an organization. And there are other stuff that I also stated in that. Then also look at information security management itself. Now, how do we manage? So information security management deals with the planning, deals with organizing, deals with controlling, then also coordinating. So when it comes to security, how well do you plan? How well do you ensure that you direct people, especially employees, on how to ensure that the policies that you have in place that connote or is in line with the policy that you have, security is highly maintained. Then also we have the information security management system that deals with the application that is on the ground that you are using to manage the whole affairs of the organization. So I said much about that, I wrote more about that to explain the various modes of what can managers can put in place to ensure that these things can help to promote the wellness of organization. Then also looking at the information threat, and the threat is something that we cannot shy away. We've been bombarded with a lot of threat in our organization where firms are being attacked, a lot of issues are coming in. We know a lot of threats that are coming and the damages that is and the dangers that organization faces, both within the private sector and the public sector. So threat is inevitably, but how do we safeguard ourselves against the kind of threat that can help organization to improve? It's as a result of a good information security management practices that can help to promote that. Okay. All right. Then I was looking at the proposal. I rely on the proposed model that can help me to also explore more to understand some of the models that can be applicable when it comes to the subject matter or the topic of my project. So I rely on the framework by NIST. So NIST has a very model which I think can help managers to improve on the wellness of the organization by looking at the various factors and the learning factors that can help to promote. So managers need to follow the model, that this framework that can help them to improve, especially the security aspect of the organization. So look into some of the factors that they can rely on and going to help them to improve the security measures tremendously. And we know NIST has a very good track record when it comes to proposal framework that managers or management or board of directors can follow to ensure that information security is almost at the top priority that can help to improve on their business or whatever work, so to avoid any kind of danger. But you cannot eliminate those threats or you cannot eliminate these dangers, but you need to ensure that you have certain framework that you follow. You make sure employees buy into that culture that can help you to improve, to ensure that you attain the best, to mitigate some of the threat or minimize it to the lowest level and not to fall as a victim. Then also, after gathering my information, I have to discuss some of the things that came up out of my research. So I ended up discussing what I saw out of the questionnaires that I rolled out to be able to find out some of the things. So to answer some of the things, I came to a point that the first question, the management practices, that is in connection with security, information security, and impact on the employee wellness. So it came to a point that I tried to address this issue. Then it came to a point that I noticed that there is lack of attention to the fact that promoting security policy practices and other factors to help shape employees' attitude. Most of the employees do not have good attitudes when it comes to management practices, even talk less about the security. So there is the need for management to ensure that they promote the practices, they promote some of the models that are proposed that can help them to improve on most of the practices for employees to understand, and must educate employees very well for them to understand the various management practices that can help them to improve the security aspect. Then that can help to promote the wellness. But when employees buy into that kind of practices, then they can able to live with it, they understand it, and to improve much of that in this regard. Then also the second day, I came to a point that want to find some of the factors in the security management as well as practices. So some of the policies are not well formulated, which I got to know that based on the question that I asked. So most of the people that came out and saying that the policies are there, but they just don't understand. It means that there's a problem, the fundamental problem to the policies that have been formulated. So they just don't follow it. People are just doing things that can just help them to achieve certain targets. So it was much of a problem. So I believe that there is management gap that management need to bridge that to ensure that they must able to promote good understanding, formulate certain policies that can help them to employees to understand more deeper factors that can help them to promote whatever information security practices and also improve on their wellness at the organization. Then finally, I also wanted to find out about the accuracy, the CIA of the organization. So I also came to a point that to understand that most of the things were not much employed, as noticed earlier on, the CIA were not fully followed. People are able to get information as and when they able to get, even at their level, people go beyond certain management level to access certain kind of information, which brings a lot of security breach within the system. So I think that this is going to help managers to ensure that they abide by the NIST approach where it comes to what information security, so they can help them what to find out that they can of the uh, promote most of information security policies that can help them to improve by employing the proposal by suggested by NIST, and also employing the CIA model that can help them ensure that they train people to understand the policies very well. They train people to comprehend. They train people to understand that data is vital. Data can never leave the organization without the consent of management. And that can help them to promote that. So management must ensure that they promote total information management practices for employees to understand thoroughly. Then looking at the contribution, this project immensely is going to help promote employee wellness. That can help employees to operate, not to ensure that organization fall into a data breach, or ensure that the company is not liable for any kind of information breach. So that's some of the things that I think is going to help, and also I'm going to improve on the knowledge on the notion of information security and the wellness of employee by definition, as I explained earlier on. This is going to help to also improve on the knowledge when it comes to information security and how to promote the wellness of employees, and also contributing to help people to understand the complex concepts when it comes to management practices and information security. Then also this is going to help to improve the uniqueness of how we can practice information security, and hence promote the hence promote security management or security practices in our organization. As we are going to help to contribute to the body of knowledge, as well as increase in knowledge to help people to dive deeper where I couldn't explore. Okay, to broaden people's mind in the area of information security. Okay, so this brings my subject to a summary and conclusion. So it came to a point that developing, implementing, I noticed that it was a daunting task. It was a serious thing. They are not applying the real information security practices. As well as well, I adopted a certain method that can help me carry out my survey by using a simple questionnaire, which I used to collect data for this project. And also, I found out that brought about many contributions from various levels that helped me to understand information security and how to promote the wellness of the employee. It was very clear for me to do that. Then also, training of employees will help correct the wellness of employees and strengthen them to ensure that information security is through standardized and appropriate system policies. So as said earlier on, management need to ensure that they put strong measures. Management need to ensure that policies are well implemented. Policies must reflect on what they do. They must have a good strategy that they can help them to implement the strategies. So that's what you're going to help managers to ensure that security is there, and hence when they have a good information security management practices, this can certainly ensure that employees will also experience good work relationship, hence promoting their wellness. Okay, thank you very much, and I really appreciate it.